But this is why it's always because you were playing it correctly, but using your own frame, which of course, when not exposed to a click, it often leads to us always kind of associating a certain rhythm to a certain speed. Remember that we had that little chat a couple of weeks back. So when you force yourself, like, okay, I understand it because you do, you played it correctly, but now let's see if I can do this not at my own speed, but the song speed or the click. So let's first lock in the counting, and then we can hear it a lot. Okay, right? And now even like for someone who does know anything about music, they won't tell. They won't be able to be like, "Oh, he's playing the same rhythm," which is irrelevant. But it's a lot easier to follow. As a listener, it's a lot easier to follow that instead of just like, you know, I told you this before, but I got students that my battle is to have them to play less because they ramble. Ramble a lot. I'm like, what are you saying? I literally can't understand what you're trying to tell me. You're just literally using all the words in the dictionary as chaotically as possible. And they change. One thing, I'm not, by the way, I should explain that I'm not opposed to playing a lot. So even if I take my liberties, there's always a theme. And that's what this kind of, method really teaches us, is themes. To follow a theme, a motif. So that would be today's lesson. So let me just give you the metronome here. We'll play this just on the snare. We'll loop it for a little bit because, of course, the idea is not to sight read anything. I'm not trying to like, oh, let's just read the whole page. So it is okay that we memorize that because then we will use that skeleton that will become the skeleton for all those exercises that we have there: orchestration, accented singles, blah blah blah. And that's the best approach to create something interesting is to have some sort of structure. And it's helpful even at a much higher level. For example, and I say this to all my students, like whenever I'm asked to come up with a drum part, like in a band context, like come up with a drum part, I need to first identify and extract the skeleton out of what's been given to me. Say a guitar part. Alright, cool. I got a guitar part. So 99.9% of drummers would just feel the pulse. And then come up, play a drum beat that they've learned before. But that drum beat, I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's not really a perfect fit, I would say, because it's just a drum beat. That's like someone saying, like we're having a conversation and you say a word. It's a word, but why'd you say that, right? And in language, we can identify those disconnections. That's why often we have conversations with people who are like, what? Right? Because there's been a breach. Like we're talking about something and like, no, I'm going to talk about something else. You're crazy. That's how crazy people talk.